I think one of the best concrete examples was around the time of the UC Berkeley riot with Milo Yiannopoulos. That was kind of the biggest moment where I was like, holy crap. Because I made an argument to my friends where I was like, hey, we may not agree with this guy, but we can't light the campus on fire when he comes to school. Like, I was taking a pro free speech position where I was like, we need to support the views of people that we find despicable or that we think have despicable views. Like, people need to be able to say despicable things, or just things that we disagree with, things that, because I don't really think Milo Yiannopoulos is despicable, but just the argument that I made to my friends that we can't just label things we disagree with as fascism and then say that people shouldn't be able to say them and just start attacking them physically when they say those things. That argument was met with so much opposition. I was called a Nazi sympathizer by people in the College Democrats immediately. First of all, I'm Jewish, so like the Nazi thing just is very funny to me. When people say that I'm a Nazi sympathizer, it's just like, yeah, okay, one of the Jewish Nazis, sure. But that's kind of the central thing, is just making the argument to people where I was just like, people need to be able to say things that we disagree with, even if those things have sort of are unflattering to a sacred cow group. Like maybe Milo Yiannopoulos or Ben Shapiro says something that is unflattering to the Black community in the United States, to women, to trans people, to gays. Maybe they say something that is, or maybe it's not even unflattering, it's just not completely celebratory or in lockstep with certain identity politics positions like those of Black Lives Matter or whatever it might be. And we need to have space for that in the discourse. And just that basic premise was completely unacceptable to people that I thought were legitimate political thinkers in my kind of liberal democratic activist space. And to me, if you don't agree with that basic notion, you're not a legitimate political thinker. You're an ideologue. You're a ridiculous fool if you don't support freedom of speech. That's the one thing it's like the only thing where I can't have a conversation with someone is if they don't want to have a conversation. It's like kind of inherent is if you don't agree with free speech, that's the only reason that I will just refuse to talk to you. Is like, that is it is the only position that I sort of right off the basis just make a sort of presupposition of like, that's an asinine position.